Hello. After discussing fundamentals of noise in communication system, now let us start the discussion on noise in continuous wave modulation systems. In the first three modules of this course, we discussed continuous wave modulation techniques, but it was with a deterministic perspective. That means we assume that the received signal is exactly same as the signal that is transmitted after modulation. So we discussed different methods of modulation, different modulation techniques. Like we started with conventional AM, then double sideband suppressed carrier AM, single sideband suppressed carrier VSPSC, and also another important modulation technique that we discussed was frequency modulation, or it was angle modulation. Right? So in all these discussions, we did not consider that signal is random. We always assume that the signal is deterministic, and we had the discussion. And in the fourth module, we just discussed the mathematical tools used to characterize the random signals and noise. That's what we have just completed that. So we completed terminologies related to the noise. That means we understood how to measure the noise of a device, which are the parameters used to measure the noisiness of the device. Like we understood what is noise figure, what is equivalent noise temperature. Both are used to measure the noisiness of the device. Now with these fundamentals, we'll be able to analyze the performance of different receivers in presence of noise. So now we'll continue the study of continuous wave modulation techniques by evaluating the effects of noise on their performance. So now we'll also assume that noise is being added to the signal when it is being transmitted to the channel, and we'll make an assumption that the noise being added is additive white Gaussian noise. We'll assume that the noise being added is additive white Gaussian noise. What is this additive white Gaussian noise? We have already understood what is white noise, what is Gaussian noise, what is white Gaussian noise. Additive white Gaussian noises which will be additive in nature. That means uh, if it is added to the signal, it will be in a additive manner, not in a convolutive manner. So we'll assume that the noise added is additive white Gaussian noise, and at the receiver, the received signal will be a combination of modulated signal and the additive white Gaussian noise. And we'll see the performance of the different receivers in presence of noise. What are the different receivers that we have studied till now? In case of conventional amplitude modulation, we have discussed envelope detector. In case of DSPSC and SSP, we have seen coherent detection, and similarly FM also we have seen different detection demodulation methods. So for each of them, we'll analyze now what is the performance of each of the receivers in presence of noise. So we'll first start with the receiver model. Here, receiver in a communication system is modeled for the study of noise. Right? And as the input to the receiver is modulated signal plus noise, I already mentioned to you, the input to the receiver is now not only the modulated signal, but it is plus noise. That means it is additive white Gaussian noise. Here the receiver also adds the device noise. So we formulate the noisy receiver model now. The next slide. So this block diagram represents a noisy receiver model. So you can observe modulated signal S of t when it is passed through a communication channel, we are assuming that it is being added with a noise, W of t. What is W of t here? Additive wide Gaussian noise, in short, AWGN. AWGN. So this signal, that is S of t plus W of t, is passed through a band pass filter, and the output of the band pass filter is termed as X of t. What is the what are the specifications of the band pass filter? This band pass filter is designed to pass the frequencies with a bandwidth of B hertz. What is B? B is the bandwidth of the modulated signal. I'll repeat, band pass filter is designed to pass the frequencies whose bandwidth, this is signal, whose bandwidth is equal to the bandwidth of the modulated signal, and center frequency is FC, that is the carrier frequency. Which carrier frequency? The carrier frequency, which the frequency of the carrier which was modulated. It could be the carrier modulation could be amplitude modulation or angle modulation. So this band pass filter is designed to pass the band of frequencies whose bandwidth is B hertz. B is here the bandwidth of the modulated signal. It could be any modulated signal, and the center frequency is FC hertz. So output is X of t. So how this X of t would look now? This is S of t multiplied with W, added with W of t. So at this point, we have the signal, which is a combination of S of t and W of t. After passing it through band pass filter, this is the band limited noise spectrum we have plotted here. You can recall W of t has a constant power spectral density whose value is N0 by 2. So if I were to draw the power spectral density of white noise, that is SW of F, it could be N0 by 2. Now, after you pass this W of t through a band pass filter, like earlier we had named it as N of t, this is the power spectral density of N of t. I hope it's fine now, correct? So with the center frequency of Fc and a bandwidth of capital B hertz. So here I have shown Fc plus B by 2 and Fc minus B by 2. So basically this is the power spectral density of N of t. What is N of t? This band pass filter output has two components. One is the signal component, other one is the noise component. So noise component is due to, it is because of passing the signal white noise W of t through a band pass filter, that is N of t. Similarly, its output will have a signal component also, which is obtained after passing S of t through a band pass filter, correct? So this is Sn of f, which is the power spectral density of the noise component at the output of the band pass filter. Okay, now just look at this Sn of f. Here we have already learned how to compute average power. Average power is the area under the curve. Average power is area under the power spectral density, correct? So this is the power spectral density. So if you compute average power in this, it is bandwidth is equal to N0 by 2, correct? N0 by 2 into this is B, correct? So this is basically, there are just two rectangles. For both rectangles, N0 by 2 is the height and width is B for each. So in all, the total area under this power spectral density is N0 by 2 multiplied by 2B. So N0 by 2 multiplied by 2B, that is N0B. So this gives us the average power in the message bandwidth, correct? Average power in the message bandwidth. What is message according to us now? Message is this modulated signal whose bandwidth is B hertz. Hope it's fine. Now we are here X of t. x of t will be passed through a demodulator. So filtered signal available for demodulation is x of t is s of t plus n of t, correct? And n of t, as I have already mentioned in the previous lecture, n of t will be represented using canonical form of representing bandpass signals as n of t is equal to ni of t cos 2 pi f c t minus nq of t into sin 2 pi f c t, right? So to derive the to understand the receiver performance, we have to basically look at the signal to noise ratio at the output of the receiver and signal to noise ratio at the input of the receiver, and we'll have to compare them, correct? So we need to have a clear understanding of different signal to noise ratios. So we'll define two signal to noise ratios. As I already said, we'll be comparing signal to noise ratios at the output of the demodulator and input of the demodulator. Fine. So that is basically output signal to noise ratio is given by SNRO. So where is this measured? This is measured at the output of the demodulator. What do you expect to be here at demodulator output? At the demodulator output, we expect that we'll be having the demodulated message signal, correct? So here SNRO will be, SNR is what? Power, signal power ratio of signal power to noise power. So signal power is average power of the demodulated message signal at the output, because at the demodulator output we expect that we'll be having the demodulated message signal. Similarly, denominator will be the average power of noise. Similarly, once again, it is also measured at the output. So, in all, SNRO is average power of the demodulated message signal at the output divided by average power of the noise measured at the output. And whenever we talk about this average power, like we always represent it as expectation. So expectation of MD square of T by expectation of ND square of T, where MD stands for demodulated message component and ND stands for noise component at the demodulator output. Similarly, we'll now define SNR at the input of the demodulator, which is called as channel signal to noise ratio, represented by SNRC as ratio of average power of modulated signal, because at this point we have the modulated signal and noise, because x of t is s of t plus n of t. So signal part is s of t, noise is n of t. Average power of the modulated signal s of t, that is expectation of s square of t, divided by average power of the noise in the message bandwidth. Why do we say in the message bandwidth? Because this is obtained after passing it through the bandpass filter. That's what average power in the message bandwidth we have seen, it is N naught B. So it is E of N square of T, which already we saw it is N naught times B. That's why it is E of expectation of S square of T divided by N naught B. Now, what are we trying to do next? First, we'll define figure of merit of the receiver, which is defined as ratio of output SNR divided by channel signal to noise ratio. That means SNRO divided by SNRC. Figure of merit of the receiver is ratio of SNRO and SNRC. So basically what we expect is SNR at the output should be greater than the SNR at the input of the demodulator. Next we need to derive the expression for figure of merit in case of DSP-SC AM receiver, and after that we'll be making a comparison of this figure of merits for different receivers. Different receivers, I mean conventional AM, DSP-SC AM and FM. Before we start with the derivation of figure of merit for different receivers, we need to understand how to calculate the average power in different scenarios for different signals. So let us start with simplest one. Average power of M of t is, we'll denote it by PM, which is equal to expectation of M square of t. Naturally it is square, so mean squared value. So expectation is mean, expectation of M square of t. So PM is from now onwards, wherever we want to calculate average power of m of t, we'll write it as PM, which is equal to expectation of m square of t. Now, average power of k into m of t, where k is a constant, it will be equal to, here it was average power of m of t, so it was expectation of m square of t. Now it is average power of k m of t, so it is expectation of k square m square of t. And we know expectation of constant is constant itself. I mean, expectation of constant into the signal is constant into expectation of m square of t. So it is k square into expectation of m square t is pm. So k square pm. Next, average power of am cos 2 pi fmt is, once again am is a constant, so expectation of the square of it, am square cos square 2 pi fmt is, am square will go outside the expectation, so am square into expectation of cos square 2 pi fmt, which we know that it is 1, I mean 1 by root 2 whole square. So it is am square by 2. So from now onwards, whenever we want to calculate average power of something of the form cos or sine with some amplitude am, we'll be putting it as am square by 2. Next, average power of k m of t cos 2 pi fmt is k expectation of k square m square of t cos square 2 pi fmt. K square outside goes outside, m square of t expectation is pm, and for cos square it is 1 by root 2 whole square. So in all it is k square pm by 2. So once again, average power of m of t is pm, average power of some constant into m of t is that constant square into pm, average power of am cos 2 pi fmt is am square by 2. It can also be sin 2 pi fmt. It can be cos 2 pi fmt or sin 2 pi fmt, any sinusoid. Average power is always am square by 2. We have done it earlier also in the first module, like what is the average power in a sinusoid. There also we had derived it as am square by 2 or ac square by 2. I think we did it for carrier signal there. Average power of k m of t cos 2 pi fmt is k square pm by 2. Now we'll start with the calculation of figure of merit in case of DSPSC receivers. So this is the receiver model. Like earlier we had seen the noisy receiver model, modulated signal added with noise, band pass filter, demodulator. Same thing here also. We have modulated signal, which is DSPSC modulated signal S of t. We are adding noise to it and passing it to band pass filter. Only thing, earlier we just wrote it as demodulator. Now we are replacing it with the DSPSC demodulation, which is the coherent detection, coherent detector. Correct? So what was coherent detector? Product modulator, for which one of the input is a received signal, other input is from the local oscillator, which generates cos 2 pi fct, which is in synchronism with the carrier used at the receiver. I mean, synchronism means phase and frequency synchronism with reference to the carrier used at the transmitter. So it is cos 2 pi fct. So x of t is s of t plus n of t, and s of t is ac cos 2 pi fct m of t. Why this? Because this is the expression for DSPSC modulated signal. Correct? So now these two figures here, this is Sn of f, which already you saw. I had shown it in the previous slide also. Here, same thing it is. So it is a power spectral density of noise after passing it through band pass filter. Basically, power spectral density of this n of t. So here, this is Sn of f, which is power spectral density of n of t. Now, this is Sni of f. What is Sni of f? This is for this is power spectral density of the in phase component of n of t, that is Ni of t. So basically the power spectral density of Ni of t. Now we'll proceed with the calculation. So to compute the figure of merit, we need to compute SNRC and SNRO. So first SNRC, SNRC means where? Before the demodulator. So it is average power of modulated signal, S of t, divided by average power of noise in the message bandwidth. So numerator, average power of modulated signal, that is S of t, which is E of S square of t. How do we compute E of S square of t? What is S of t? AC cos 2 pi f ct m of t, correct? We want to compute E expectation of S square of t, that is AC square m square of t cos square 2 pi f ct. AC square m square of t cos square 2 pi f ct, which we had seen here, which is something similar to this. K square is now AC square. AC square m square of t cos square 2 pi fmt, which turns out to be, here it was K square Pm by 2, now it will be AC square Pm by 2. So AC square Pm by 2. Similarly, average power of noise in the message bandwidth, we had computed already. We had seen it here itself. It is N naught B, fine. So N naught B. So SNRC is PM AC square by 2 divided by N naught B. So we are done with the expression of deriving the expression for SNRC. Now we need to derive expression for SNRO, that is at the output of the demodulator. So that means now we are here. So first we have to write an expression for V of t, write an expression for Y of t, and we have to look at the signal component and noise components in Y of t, and then derive the signal to noise ratio at the output of the receiver. That means at the output of the low pass filter. So output of product modulator, we are here. We are writing the expression for V of t, which is product of X of t and cos 2 pi f c t. So V of t is X of t cos 2 pi f c t. What is X of t? S of t plus N of t, and cos 2 pi f c t remains as it is. So it is S of t cos 2 pi f c t plus N of t cos 2 pi f c t. And what is S of t? M of t AC cos 2 pi f c t. So here we have M of t AC cos square 2 pi f c t plus N of t written using canonical representation as Ni of t cos 2 pi f c t minus Nq of t sin 2 pi f c t together multiplied with cos 2 pi f c t. So you can easily verify that you will be arriving at this expression. Now, this is now next after simplification, cos square is written as half into 1 plus cos 2 pi f c t. So with that, this term will be written as AC by 2 m of t plus AC by 2 m of t cos 4 pi f c t. Similarly, here also cos square is written as half into 1 plus cos 2 pi f c t. So this is Ni of t by 2 by plus Ni of t by 2 into cos 4 pi f c t minus here this we are making use of sine 2 theta formula, which is 2 sine theta cos theta. So sine theta cos theta will be half of sine 2 theta. So it is half nq of t into sine 4 pi f c t. Now this is V of t. How many terms it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. V of t has basically 5 terms. Just take a look at these 5 terms, especially the frequency components. This is m of t. So what are the frequency components in this? This depends on the message bandwidth, correct? Similarly, this also depends on the, I mean, m of t cos 4 pi f c t is now, it's a modulated signal component, which if you plot the spectrum of this will have 2 triangle bands. This will have 1 triangle centered at 0 because it is baseband. This is a modulated signal, which will have 2 triangles centered at 2fc and minus 2fc. This is baseband. I mean, this is DC component with frequency 0. This is a carrier, that means 2 impulses at 2fc and minus 2fc. Similarly, impulses at 2fc and minus 2fc. So when we pass this signal through a low pass filter, what do we expect? Whatever signal components which are present in the message bandwidth will be retained. So AC by 2 m of t is retained. First term is retained. Second term gets eliminated because this is having 2 triangles centered at 2fc and minus 2fc, which are eliminated. This gets retained because it is DC component. This gets eliminated because it is centered at, I mean, this is having 2 impulses at 2fc minus 2fc, which is beyond the message bandwidth. this also gets eliminated. So left out with only two terms, AC by 2 M of t and Ni of t by 2. Correct? This is the output of the low pass filter. So this Y of t is AC by 2 M of t plus half into Ni of t. So in this, the first term is desired signal and second term is noise component. That indicates that the noise is additive at the output. Next, we want to compute the signal component, signal to noise ratio at the output of the demodulator, which is average power of demodulated message signal at the output divided by average power of the noise measured at the output. So which is given by expectation of, first one is what? This expectation of AC square by 4 M square of t. AC square by 4 M square of t, which turns out to be AC square by 4 constant, and expectation of M square of t is Pm. Similarly, power spectral density of this, it is half, correct, half into PSG of N of t. And what is PSG of N of t? It is N naught B. So it is half into N naught B. So SNRO is this divided by this. So it turns out to be A square Pm by 2 N naught B. So finally, figure of merit for DSBSC receiver which uses coherent detector is SNRO by SNRC. You can observe SNRO, SNRC both have the same expression, AC square Pm by 2 N naught B. AC square Pm by 2 N naught B. So figure of merit for a DSP-SC receiver turns out to be 1. It's equal to 1. Now let us look at figure of merit for different receivers. We have derived it only for DSP-SC. Others I have just written them here. DSP-SCAM and also SSB-SC also turns out to be 1. That is figure of merit for both the receivers. Basically both are using coherent detector. It's equal to 1. And this is the figure of merit for AM receiver which uses a envelope detector. So figure of merit in case of AM receiver is given by Ka square Pm by 1 plus Ka square Pm, where Pm is the average power of original message signal which we saw already. And for single tone modulation, what is single tone modulation? If message signal is a sinusoid. So how do we write Pm then? Pm will be AM square by 2, correct? Like here we wrote for carrier like whenever we had something of the form like here am cos 2 pi fmt, it is am square by 2. So for single tone modulation pm is am square by 2, correct? So figure of merit, I am just replacing pm by am square by 2, you can observe, and we know that ka into am is mu. I have replaced it with mu. So figure of merit for single tone modulation, am modulation is mu square by 1 plus mu square. And coming to FM, figure of merit is given by 3 kf square pm by w square, where w is a message bandwidth. And we also know that in case of FM, deviation ratio is given by frequency deviation delta f divided by w, and delta f is given by kf into am, where here ka is sensitivity, amplitude modulation sensitivity. This is kf is sensitivity, frequency modulation sensitivity, kf. So kf am is delta f, and this is in case of, I mean, modulate if the modulate if the message signal is not a sinusoid. Similarly, if it is sinusoid, we instead of calling it as deviation ratio, we use the term beta, correct? So beta is kf am by fm. So figure of merit in case of FM with single tone modulation can be written as 3 by 2 beta square. I have just replace here this term with beta, so it turns out to be 3 by 2 beta square. So this slide, in this slide we have compared the figure of merit for different receivers. For DSB-SCAM and SSB-SCAM which use coherent detector, figure of merit turns out to be 1. For AM which has used envelope detector, figure of merit is given for, in general it is this, and in particular for single tone modulation it is mu square by 1 plus mu square, and in case of FM it is 3 by 2 beta square for single tone modulation. Now the last topic, in case of FM demodulation, here we have here, I mean, this slide shows you the power spectral density of a typical message signal. I hope you agree with this, because always we have been putting it as a triangle. Instead of putting it as a triangle, now it is shown in this way, but it is fine, because what was the intention of putting a triangle there? Like low frequency components always dominate compared to high frequency components. So instead of putting a triangle, we have put it in this manner. So this represents a typical power spectral density of a typical message signal. So denoted with the notation Sm of f. And this second graph, this shows the power spectral density of noise at the FM receiver output. So this is power spectral density of a typical message signal and noise at the FM receiver output. So what is the speciality? I mean, what are we supposed to understand in these two? PSD of messages low at high frequencies. These are high frequency components compared to this. So PSD of messages low at high frequencies, but PSD of noises high at high frequencies. So PSD of messages low at high frequencies compared to that of noise, it is off compared to that of noise. Here you can see high frequency components dominate in noise, but high frequency components are with a very low strength in message signal. And as the bandwidth of the filter that we use at the demodulator, basically demodulator we use a low pass filter whose bandwidth is equal to the message bandwidth, that is W. So as the bandwidth of filter is same as that of the message signal, a considerable amount of noise will also be present at the filter output. That means we are not only having this at the receiver, we also have a noise component at the receiver. But what if we cut down, we reduce the, decrease the bandwidth of the low pass filter from W to less than W? Then we might think of, um, we might think of, I mean, avoiding a part of the noise component, that is high frequency noise component at the demodulator output. So if bandwidth of low pass filter is slightly decreased to reduce the noise level, demodulated signal, that means if you, instead of passing these two components through a low pass filter of cutoff W hertz, if we pass it to low pass filter of cutoff which is less than W, that means somewhere here, then this part of the signal is lost and this part of the noise is lost. So you can appreciate that a large part of noise is gone, but we are disturbing the signal also, correct? Especially these high frequency components are very important in case of music signals. So especially in case of music signals, signal also gets distorted. So this is not a good way. So for that, we have to go with pre-emphasis and de-emphasis. So what is this? Before transmitting at the transmitter, that means before the FM transmitter block, first we'll have a pre-emphasis filter. Basically, pre-emphasis filter is a high-pass filter. And at the receiver, after the receiver, we'll have a de-emphasis filter, which is basically a low-pass filter. Okay, so at the transmitter, the message signal is passed through a pre-emphasis filter, which is a high-pass filter. So what is the purpose of passing the message signal through high-pass filter? Here, this is a typical message spectrum. Instead of, so here you can observe high frequency components are at a very low strength. So when we pass this through a pre-emphasis filter, which is basically a high pass filter, we are trying to boost the high frequency components also. That means the pre-emphasis filter, which is the high pass filter, helps in equalizing the low and high frequency components of the message signal by enhancing the strength of the high frequency components, as it is a high pass filter. So now we'll not be using the actual message for frequency modulation. Instead, we'll be using the pre-emphasized message signal for modulation at the transmitter. And after demodulation, now here, after demodulation, the demodulated signal comprising of signal and noise component here is passed through a de-emphasis filter, which is a low pass filter. which not only removes the uh, high frequency components which were enhanced in the message, it also removes high frequency components of the noise. So this process is widely used in commercial FM radio transmission and reception. Okay, thank you.